I'm not a Trump fanboy. Quite frankly, I don't think I could tolerate conversing with him for more than a minute. But then again, I really couldn't handle Kamala Harris for more than 10 seconds. Whatever. But the media's reaction to the latest assassination attempt is sheer lunacy.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself.
Now, before you think this clown is referring to the Trump is Hitler rhetoric that would inspire someone to actually try and assassinate Hitler, well, listen up.
Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town.
See what I mean? Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's time for the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
I'm pulling this from Black Conservative Perspectives channel. Great channel. I subscribe, and you should too. His channel is like Rashad Ritchie's indisputable channel on the Young Turks, except it's not filled with misinformation and propaganda. He isn't trying to convince his viewers that they're all victims of the system. And he doesn't try to paint people of a certain color as evil. And he's rather jovial, a happy person. Okay, so it's really not much like Rashad Ritchie's channel. But enough of that. Let's get it going.
Do you expect there to be calls from within the Trump campaign to do that? Because he's going to reach out to his supporters and say, let's take this down. We do not know, again, the source of any gunshot or gunshots. We don't know who's responsible for this. The whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this all played out.
Oh, really? You want to take more time to find out the true nature of the shootings. I mean, you don't want to jump the gun. The man tried to kill Trump, but we don't know anything about him, and let's not jump to conclusions. Where was all this restraint when it came to the Kenosha shootings? If I recall correctly, and I do, media outlets like yours labeled him a white supremacist from the jump street. I mean, within the hour, you had already decided on his motives and how he got to the protest. Without doing a smidgen of research, everyone decided that his mom must have driven him, and that poor lady is still getting threatened over it. But no, here we have to be careful, and we have to wait.
But do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
But why not ask if you're going to hear anything from Trump's opposition about toning down the rhetoric? You know, how our democracy is at stake, how we could end up with a dictatorship if Trump is elected. How much more of Trump is Hitler do we have to hear before arriving at a reasonable conclusion that the left is as much embedded in violent rhetoric as the right? In fact, probably more so.
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started. So I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay, any threat of violence, we don't want.
Threat of violence? The two assassination attempts are not mere threats. This is twice now that someone has tried to take out Trump, and your only concern is about threats of violence from the right? Notice the complete lack of concern for Trump's life. There is none, zero. As for not wanting violence, that simply isn't true. How many "too bad he missed" comments did we hear from the left after the first shooting? So their big concern is not about Trump or anybody from the right getting shot. Their real concern is that the right might get angry and go after their favorite political candidates.
I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting, as we've seen in the past.
Unity? In their mind, unity means don't say anything we can construe as hateful. Our own rhetoric? I mean, come on, we only talk about peace and love. This is twice now that someone has tried to kill him, and their demand is that he, not his political opponents, tone down his political rhetoric. So the left is already blaming the victim. It was Trump's hate rhetoric that caused somebody to try to shoot him. Except Trump's rhetoric would be directed against his opponents, right? So that means that somebody who was influenced it would want to try to shoot one of his opponents, not him. The whole notion that maybe it was rhetoric from the left that caused this is not even discussed, not even mentioned as a possibility. So this is classic blame the victim. So what other tactics can the left employ? Well, judging by the tactics they used after the first assassination attempt, we can guess. Number one, Trump was never in danger because it was probably not even a real gun. Number two, Trump was never in danger because this was all staged. The assassin was hired by the CIA, or was it the Secret Service, or perhaps the FBI? Number three, this just goes to show how much we need gun control. A classic deflection onto a topic they love to talk about. Forget Trump. We don't care about the assassination attempt. Let's talk about gun control. Number four, he wanted to shoot Trump because he supported Trump. Okay. Believe it or not, they actually tried to make that argument for the first assassination attempt. I'm not joking. Number five, his attempt was understandable because he suffered from Trump's policies toward something. And number six, why didn't the would-be assassin's wife or brother or nephew not notice something wrong with him? This is your classic deflection onto a safer topic. So time will tell here. We'll find out over the next couple of weeks how this will all unfold. But my gut feeling is that they are not going to admit that the man who tried to shoot Donald Trump was driven by leftist rhetoric. They'll do everything in their power to refute that notion. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.